And I think it is time to go ahead and get started. Hey, my name is Coach James, and I would like to welcome you to All About Aerodynamics presents At The Track Live. I am the creator and lead instructor for All About Aerodynamics. What is All About Aerodynamics, you ask? Glad you asked. Even if you didn't ask, All About Aerodynamics is a science program where I use Hot Wheels cars to teach kindergarten through 6th grade students about a whole range of science and physics-related topics, including, but not limited to, aerodynamics, drag, lift, potential energy, kinetic energy, force. What else do we talk about? Drag. We talk about lift. We talk about a range of topics. And after we conduct experiments to drive home these concepts, and we've had discussions to make sure the students understand exactly what we're talking about, then and only then do I bring in about 400 different Hot Wheels cars, and each student has the opportunity to select a car they think would be fastest in a series of races based on everything they've learned in the course. And then, after they've selected their car, after they've examined their car, after they have documented the weight of the car, tested the speed of the car, the year the car was manufactured, all of that information that they can observe, enter that into a spreadsheet, and then we have a tournament. We have a 1/64 scale quarter-mile drag strip, and the students race their cars and observe how their cars perform. Did their cars perform up to or below their expectations? And if they had the opportunity, would they select that car again? That is the question. And we learn science. We have fun with Hot Wheels cars, and what could be better? So if you would like more information about our science program, All About Aerodynamics, you can visit our website, aaerodynamics.com, or you can go to our Instagram account, also AA Aerodynamics, and you can check the link in the bio, and you can get all of the information that you need. And if you have any other questions, you can send me an email, send me a DM, whatever you need to do, and I will be happy to give you more information about how we can bring our science program to your school, your organization, or your special event. We have programs that can fit any number of students or any time constraints you may have. So you can get all of that information at the website or through the link in the bio. But this is not all about aerodynamics. This is all about aerodynamics presents At The Track Live. So what is At The Track Live? Well, before I can bring all the cars in for the students to use, I have to make sure that I know which cars I'm bringing to the school so that I can bring them back and have them in exactly the right places so that the students can have the opportunity to select their cars, and I can be more efficient when I bring the cars to and from the school. So what that means is I can't bring cars to the schools until I know exactly which cars I've got. I have to catalog them. I have to enter the information into a spreadsheet that I keep. And what that means is I have a lot of Hot Wheels cars in storage that I haven't cracked open yet. And like most Hot Wheels collectors and enthusiasts, every time I go to a store, I go down that Hot Wheels aisle, check the pegs, see if there's anything in there that that catches my eye, that either I like or that I think the students would like, and I pick it up, and I end up with more Hot Wheels cars in storage than I have ready to take to schools. So I created At The Track Live so that I could begin to work through some of the cars that I have in storage and get them entered into the fleet. So every week I'll go into storage, I'll pull out about 6 Hot Wheels cars, crack those open, take a look at those, shoot a little video, take a still picture, and then enter the information into the spreadsheet. And since the track is already set up, we have a little mini tournament and race those cars and see which car is the fastest of the new group. But wait, there's more. because since it's At The Track Live, you have the opportunity to participate. So if you go to AtTheTrack.live, you will have three options. You'll have the YouTube link, the Twitch stream link, which you don't need because you're already here, or you're watching this after the fact. But the third link is the most important. The third link will take you to the page that has all of our cars listed. And that link says choose a car. You hit that and you are taken to this page. And on this page, you can scroll through and you can see all of the cars that are currently in the All About Aerodynamics At The Track Live fleet. And we are now up to 781. There are 781 different cars for you to choose from. And when I say you can choose from them, all you have to do is find the car you think would be faster than one of the cars that, well, all of the cars that I introduce, or a car that you just happen to think is fast. And when you see that car, let's say you're scrolling through, you're looking at all the cars, all the selections. We've got fantasy cars, trucks, character cars. We've got 70s cars, 80s cars, 90s cars, and cars from as recent as last week. Let's say you decide this Super Volt. This is the car you think is going to be faster than whatever cars I introduce. So you click on it, you take a closer look, you check it out, you look at the angles, look at the lines, you say, you know what, I think that's the car. If that's the car you think is going to be fastest, all you have to do is take the number of the car, in this case 359, take that and drop it into the chat. And once you do that, then I will pull the car and you will have the opportunity to enter our tournament, possibly beat out some of the other cars, and then you will have an opportunity to become the champion of the day and face our fastest in fleet car. Now, our fastest in fleet car is the car that has won the tournament or has beaten the cars that have won the tournament every week. So we'll have our tournament with our 6 cars. We'll get a winner. That winner will then move on to challenge our fastest in fleet car, and our current fastest in fleet car is this one, the Gazella R. And let me zoom in a little bit so you can get a closer look at our champ. And this car has been our fastest in fleet car for the last, let's see, for the last, get this light right, for the last 3 or 4 weeks. And it has not really had a close race. Well, I take that back. It did have a close race, but it's maintained its position as the fastest in fleet car, and it is fast. And I mean, obviously, it's got the fastest in fleet title, but that doesn't mean anything until you test it out on the track. And this car has proven out on the track the last few weeks that it is in fact fast. So when you make your selection, when you go to AtTheTrack.live, and you select choose a car and you go to this page and you scroll through, ultimately the car that you're trying to beat is the Gazella R. And that's not a small feat. But we're going to find out today if someone can pick a car that is faster. What's up, Roughshod? Happy New Year to you too. And Roughshod, let's see, his first pick for 25 is 152, the Formulator. Let's see what it can do. Let's see. So it's funny because they use that, Hot Wheels uses that a lot, that 8, because I'm seeing right here we've got the See You Later. And that actually has the profile of a car that seems like it would do well on the track, but that's not what Roughshod picked. Let's go ahead and take a look. 152. 152. There we go. Oh, okay. Okay. The Formulator. This is interesting because this car, I want to say it came in, my son got it in maybe like a McDonald's in like a Happy Meal promotion. And the reason I'm think that's the case is because I remember it had this sticker on the top, and most of the Hot Wheels cars, they don't have just stickers laid across the top. And I remember one of the students had picked this car, and the sticker was kind of flapping, so when I pull it, I'm pretty sure that sticker has been peeled off because it was kind of dry rotted and just kind of flapping and creating additional drag. So, this car, and I don't remember if this car ever had a wing on the back. Maybe it didn't. But either way, this is the car, and I know from having watched this car perform when some of the students have picked it, this car is pretty fast. Now, I don't know, is it Gazella R fast? We'll find out. But this is definitely another solid pick. And I just need to write down the number. In this case, it is 152. And I will pull that car later. And if anyone else has a car that you think could be faster than the Gazella R or faster than the Formulator, then all you have to do, once again, is go to AtTheTrack.live, select choose a car, and scroll through this page, and you will see 781 cars, well, 780 minus the Gazella, and 779 minus the Formulator. But anything else that you see, fair game. If you think that this Altered Ego Halloween edition, 2019 Halloween edition Altered Ego, drag, buggy, funny car thing, if you think that this is the car, all you have to do is take the number, in this case 244, drop it in the chat, and I will pull it. Now this one, the Nerve Hammer, and it's the Nerve Hammer, and it's listed as Nerve Hammer Purple. This is a popular car, and I was at one school where the students picked this, and they called it the Kobe car because it's a purple and gold. And it's Nerve Hammer Purple because there is another one, and this was sort of one that I had in the fleet before I started trying to eliminate duplicates. And it's funny because I almost picked one up last night. I saw they had another Nerve Hammer, like the Nerve Hammer is just one of those cars that they're always making different versions of. And I saw one in the store just last night and almost picked it up, but I absolutely knew that I already had at least two Nerve Hammers. But they did the design, the look of the car was something that was appealing, and I almost bought it, but I'm trying to avoid duplicates. I definitely don't want to have triplicates. So, yeah, so I had to leave it on the shelf. So hopefully somebody else picks it up and enjoys it. There are trucks, not too many trucks because a lot of the trucks are too wide to fit in our launcher. And so I've got a whole box full of trucks that are unopened. And at some point, I'll have to either modify the launcher because the launcher we have I designed, and I designed it to a certain width for each of the cars, and predominantly for cars. And so any of the trucks with sort of wider stances usually don't fit into the launcher, into the launch channel, so I can't use those. But we do have trucks. If you're into trucks and you think trucks are the way to go, there's definitely something in there for you. This one, this California Cruisin', this is one that I had when I was a kid, and this van is heavy. I had one kid picked it, and I was kind of asking him, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" I mean, this is probably, if it's not the heaviest, it's one of the heaviest. This is probably from back in the 70s, 80s, and it is all metal, and it is heavy. The body is metal, the base is metal, and this thing is heavy. And he picked it, and I think, at that school, it was the last school that I was at before COVID. Like, we were going through the process, we were doing the classes, the kids had picked their cars, and we were documenting, and we were sort of leading up to the races. And then COVID hit, and so we had a break, and then that break turned into, you know, school being dismissed. So I never got back to that school. So we never actually got to race this California cruising van, but we did test the speed, and it was slow because it was just so heavy. This Quick Bite is a car that I use to demonstrate to the kids why they shouldn't pick this kind of car. It's got a horrible aerodynamic profile, and there's a video I have of it flying off the track, which I use to show the kids like different things. But hey, whatever car you're into, if you're into these gimmick cars, I just passed one. We've got gimmick cars in here. This Berserk and this sort of table saw, buzz saw. On the top, as the car is moving, this will actually spin. So if you're into gimmick cars, there you go. Now, I wouldn't pick this car not because of the gimmick, but because of the back end that comes to this kind of point. And as I mentioned frequently, and if you saw the Instagram post I put up yesterday, you get a closer look at the launching block that pushes the cars out of our launcher, and you'll see that it's a square. So cars that get the best launches have flat back ends that press right up against that launching block. Cars with like this, with these pointed back ends or very odd curved back ends, don't have much surface area touching the launching block, and therefore when they get pushed out, it's anybody's guess if they're going to get a good launch or if they're going to go off to one side or the other. If they go off to one side or the other, as I mentioned, Newton's third law of motion, for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. They are going to bounce back and forth down the track, and you can see them bouncing back and forth, and every time they hit one side and bounce back to the other, there's a little friction, and that friction tends to ultimately serve to slow the car down. Cars that get a good solid launch, usually cars with a flat back end or a flat wing in the back, get a solid push, and when they get that push, then they're able to, more often than not, stay straight on the track and don't bounce around and keep up their speed and perform better. So if you're just choosing a car, flat back ends are what you're looking for. And yeah, there's a range of cars to choose from. So go to AtTheTrack.live, select choose a car, and find the car that you think will be fastest and faster than the cars that we are going to be racing today. And Roughshod has already got his pick in, the Formulator, so I'll be pulling that car a little later, and then we will see how it performs and if it can take down the Gazella R. Now, if you saw that Instagram post that I put up yesterday, you will see that we finally got back to, not finally, it's only been like 2 weeks. A couple weeks ago, we raced this truck, the Haulerback, and it is a drag tow truck, and it's pretty cool looking. Let me put it up here so we can take a look at this thing again. And it is definitely one of the cars that I like. Let me see. Let's go over here and take a look at it. There we go. And the issue that we had, with, like I just mentioned, with the launching block, is that in the back of this thing, it had this tow hook. And the tow hook was the only part of the car that was touching the launching block. And that was a problem, I thought, because, again, you don't know what kind of launch it's going to get. But meanwhile, I noticed that the bumper here was flat. And I was thinking if the tow hook wasn't there, then this bumper that would press flat up against the launching block, and this truck would probably get a more consistent launch. So this car, I picked it up, and it's new for 2025. So it's one of the newest Hot Wheels cars that's out. So you'll probably see them in stores. We'll probably start to see them in different colors. But this was the one I got. So because it's new in the stores, I figured, all right, I'll probably see another one. And I wanted to conduct an experiment. This is all about aerodynamics, is a science program. So I wanted to conduct an experiment. So what I did is I bought another Haulerback. And if you saw again on the Instagram story, I cut off the tow hook on this one. And now it's just got this flat back end. So that flat back end is all that's going to press up against the launching block. So we are going to conduct an experiment and do this race and find out if the Haulerback with the flat back end performs better than the one with the tow hook on the back end. So the cars are identical. The only difference is I cut off part of the tow hook, which should change the weight, but only minimally. So I'm thinking, my hypothesis and my guess is that the one that is pressed up against the launching block, will get a better launch and therefore perform better on the track. Now, if that's not the case, then okay, I'm open to that result as well. But we are going to find out. So that's just a bonus race that we're going to have today, and we'll find out which car is faster, or if it makes a difference, if it makes no difference. So we'll have that race, and another bonus race that we'll be having involves this car, the MS-T Suzuka. Let's get that spinning and take a look at this one. So this car is another one that that my son had, and we don't keep I didn't do it, and I guess he got that from me. We never kept the Hot Wheels in the case. They were to be played with, and he played with this one. But I think this one, you know how kids are, they swap Hot Wheels cars, they'll, whatever. This one is pretty beat up, and students have selected it, and that's fine, but it's got like rust stains on it. Hang on. It's got some rust down there. And on the bottom it's a little scratched up. The back, it's definitely been played with. But the main thing is it doesn't really roll as smoothly as I would like. I mean, and it's one of the reasons why a lot of the cars that I had when I was a kid aren't in the fleet, because I played with them and they just don't, the wheels, they don't roll properly. So I found in the store, I saw this one, and it's the same car, the MS-T Suzuka, but obviously this is new, and I decided that, you know what, if a student picks this car, or in the other case, if they pick this version, I don't want the car to perform poorly because it's damaged in some way. So I want the cars to perform. We don't really modify, even though that Haulerback, I just cut off the tow hook, but the version that's going to be in the fleet is the one with the tow hook. I don't modify the cars, just take them out of the pack. So I want the cars to perform however they're going to perform fresh out of the pack. And this car, even though it's used, used, I don't mind, but when it's kind of damaged a little bit, no good. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a race between this fresh out of the pack MS-T Suzuka and that MS-T Suzuka, and we are going to find out which one is going to end up staying in the fleet, because the winner stays in the fleet, the loser is out. So if this white Suzuka, if that one loses, then it's going to the prize bin and some other student can pick it and play with it, and then this one will be replacing it. I have a feeling, just based on how I know the wheels are spinning on that one, that this one should take the race with no problem, but you never know. You never know. So that's why we always have to settle it on the track. So those are two bonus races that we are going to have today. The MS-T Suzuka Showdown and the Haulerback Experiment. But we also have to get to what we're here to do, and that is introduce new cars to the fleet. So I am going to check, because I pulled the first car I pulled. I had to go back and check because I thought I had one. It's this one, the Mazda 787B, and I am Mazda 787B. Yep, we already have one, number 545. So this car is going to end up in the prize bin, unfortunately. I mean, I have one, so it's not that big a deal. But I like this car. I like the paint on it. I like the color combination of the sort of burgundy and gold. That's cool. Only thing I don't like when they have the different wheels. And this wheel on the front, this solid white thing, I'm not a fan of. I wish they'd done it in the back, or even put the gold wheels on there. That would have been cool, but doesn't matter because I already have one. So this is going to the prize bin. Some student will get to pick that at some point in the future. All right, next up, so that Mazda, that cool racing Mazda, is out, and this Mazda is in. It is the 1968 Mazda Cosmo Sport. So this little compact car from the 60s. So let's go ahead. Well, let me check and make sure I don't have one. Mazda RX-3, RX-7, Ferrari, and Repu. Okay, there is not one. There is one now. Let me crack this open. We'll take a closer look. All right, let me check the weight on this. And the weight, so the weight of the Gazella R, which is our champ, is 32.2 grams. So that is the Gazella. And this Mazda Cosmo, 27.7. So it's significantly lighter. Put this here, and let's go ahead and take a look at this one. As it comes around, I will shoot the video and lock in the focus. And this car, it's light, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I don't know that aerodynamically speaking, it's gonna be able to hang with some of the other some of the others, the Gazella specifically, but also Roughshods pick of that Formulator. I don't know that it's really going to be able to compete. And looking at the back end, it's got a slight curve, but not too much. It's fine. I don't know that there's a point at which cars are too light, and that is something to take into consideration, because some of the students think once we go through all the science topics and the aerodynamics and drag and lift and gravity and all these things, that they come to the conclusion that they want the lightest car possible, because then they think that will translate into it being faster. But our launcher shoots the cars out with so much force that lighter cars sometimes have a hard time staying on the track. There's just so much force that they come out with. They're just kind of bouncing all around, and that is not ideal if you are trying to win a race. You want to stay on the track. You want to stay straight and, you know, reach those top speeds. And that can't happen if a car is just bouncing around the track. So, and again, it's one of the things that I explained to the students is that the cars, you know, cars are designed in a specific way, especially race cars and supercars, to create downforce. And downforce is necessary to keep the cars on the track. And that's the whole point there. Let me grab this other light. Take the still picture of the 1968 Mazda Cosmo Sport. This backlight to kind of fill in right there. And boom. We have car number 782. Moving closer and closer to 800 and ultimately 1,000. It's crazy. All right, let me check the year on this car. It's also narrow, is what I'm noticing. The manufacturing year is 2019. So we've got that. So that is our first one. The Mazda Cosmo Sport is our first entrant. And 2019 is the year. Okay. Next up, we're going to go with this one, the Audi RS E-Tron GT. And just a four-door electric sedan. And you can't see the little electric thing because it's green and there's a green screen. But let me again just double check, because I don't want to have duplicates, and that is always my. All right, we've got an Audi Quattro, Audi R5 RS5 Coupe. That is not this one, and that is it. So all right, cool. This is going to be our next entrant into the fleet. This is the Audi RS E-Tron GT. So let me go ahead and crack this open. You can take a closer look. All right, check the weight. Feels pretty like it's right in the, yeah, 32.7. So it's right in that sort of range that we have from cars that tend to do well, which is in that 32 to 36 range are usually the cars that perform best on the track. So let's switch over and take a closer look at this one, the Audi E-Tron. Lock in this focus, get it turned just a little bit. Always want a nice three-quarter view of the car for the students so that they can get a sense of the overall shape and the back end. We get some light to fill in behind this car. And there we go. We've got that. And now let me get it to spin so I can grab this video. And the video is important for the students who are participating in the online version of All About Aerodynamics, so that they can get a good 360-degree view of the car that they are possibly selecting. And this one's cool. There's a lot of detail. It's funny because it's a mainline car, which is just the basic cars that you would find in the store at the lowest, most common price. And I see there's some detailing with the headlights, and as it comes around the back with the license plate and the badges and all of that. So I don't know how the decision gets made, which cars they're going to put more detail into, especially when they're not they're premium cars. But this is a good looking car, the Audi E-Tron GT. Mustard Jello, hey, how's it going? Mustard is picking, he's made a pick, so I will, after I grab this video, we'll go and take a look and see, take a look at the car that Mustard Jello has picked. This one's coming around, and you can see even with this front license plate, Hot Wheels Grand Speed, I believe it says. So we've got this car. All right, so this Audi, I think between the Audi and that Cosmo, I think the Audi would be faster because it's got a little bit more weight. That Cosmo is light and it's narrow, which is just a combination that is likely to end up in some very erratic movements down the track. So we'll definitely have to keep an eye on that. But I think that this Audi, the weight is right in that kind of sweet spot of just about 33 grams, and it's a little wide, it's wider, and I think it'll do well on the track. So let me just check the manufacturing year, 2021, and we have our second car of the day. Pop this in here, 2021, and let's go ahead and see which car Mustard has decided on. 94. He's going with Ferrari 360. I don't know if there's some, if Hot Wheels has, if there's some, I don't know, maybe it's a corporate kind of dispute or something, but you don't really see many Ferraris lately. And I know that they have made them in the past because I have some here, which is one we're about to, we'll see, there's two just sitting right here. One's this. So 94, this is the one that Mustard's picked, Ferrari 360 Modena X-Racer version. And then right next to it is the Ferrari California. And right below that is the Ferrari 250 GTO. But all of these cars are older, and I haven't really seen many Ferraris. And with the way, I mean, it must be some corporate licensing something going on, because we see Lamborghinis all the time, Paganis all the time, Jaguars, and just on and on and on. So, but haven't seen any Ferraris lately. But we've got this Ferrari. This is the one that that Mustard has picked, and this is a car, another one that is popular with the students that I've seen race. And I don't remember how it's performed. I just remember it being picked, and it's definitely, as you can tell from the picture, and when I pull it, we'll take a closer look. It's a smaller car, but unlike the Cosmo, it seems to be a little wider, and wider cars tend to do better because there's less wiggle room on the track. If you have a narrow car, there's more room for it to bounce around the track. A wider car is pretty much going to be locked in to the track. It's not going to have the opportunity to turn and shift, and ultimately reducing that friction from the tires scraping up against the side of the track is important to keep up the speed and keep the cars going. So let me write this number down, 94. And that will go along with Roughshode's pick. 94, nice. So that means we have so far we have 4 cars. We have Roughshods Formulator. We have Mustard's Ferrari 360 Modena. And we have the 68 Mazda Cosmo Coupe, Cosmo Sport. And then we have the Audi E-Tron RS E-Tron GT. That'll just be the E-Tron. And so we are at, that is car number 783. We've got 2 more cars to introduce before we hit the track. So let me go to this. Got a bag over here. Got 2 bags with 2 cars, 2 sets of cars in there. Let's see. So one is a car that a friend of mine gave me, picked up. People give me Hot Wheels cars, and this is one that I really like. This is a great one, the Ravager ST. It's sort of a Hot Wheels fantasy muscle car, but I have one. I picked one up and introduced it a few weeks back. So this version, I appreciate it being donated, and it is going into the prize bin, which isn't a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to be in the prize bin because some student is going to pick this and they're going to be happy with it. They're going to play with it. So thank you for this, and it's going into the prize bin. Right. And let's see. We are going to, let's see, I think, what's in here? Let's go with, all right, how about this? And we may have introduced this already. Maybe, maybe not. This Porsche 911 Rallye E. There's an E on the end of Rally, so I don't know if it's Rallye E or some European version or pronunciation. Either way, the Porsche 911 Rallye. Let me just check, make sure we don't already have one in the fleet. So a lot of Porsches. Wow, there's maybe as many Porsches as there are Batmobiles, which is a tall order. Let's see, we've got a Porsche 356 Outlaw, a 904 Carrera, a 911 RS 2.7, a 911 GT3, a 911 GT3 Cup, a 911 GTI 98, and then the rest are different numbers. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 different types of Porsche 911s, but this is going to be the 5th. So the Porsche 911 Rallye. Let's see. From the desert to the city streets, this speedy sports car provides top performance on road and off. It boasts a ground-shaking 473 horsepower and newly developed all-terrain tires to easily handle the path ahead. So none of that pertains to the Hot Wheels version, but that's what's on the back. Let's crack this open and take a closer look. All right, the Rallye. Weight 26.7. So it's actually lighter than the Cosmo Sport. So that's interesting. By a gram, by exactly 1 gram, it is lighter. So let's go ahead and take a closer look. The Rallye. Okay. Focus is locked in. We'll take this video. This is another one, a mainline car that they have put a lot more detail into, with the headlights, the Porsche badge on the front. Now it's a rally car, so I guess that's why it's got all the stuff on top, things that would be necessary in a rally race. It doesn't help aerodynamically speaking, but you know, the degree to which it is going to hurt this car in a race, I don't know, but when you're talking about going up against the Gazella, which has no noticeable flaws in its design, then you really don't want to introduce anything that may even may detract from your ultimate aerodynamic profile and create any additional drag. But we'll see how this car performs. It is lighter, and maybe what it loses in aerodynamics because of the stuff on the roof, it will make up for in terms of its overall speed because it is lighter. We'll see. And let's get this still picture. Let me zoom in a bit. And it's a good looking car. I like that. Whether or not how it performs on the track is anybody's guess, but we won't have to guess for much longer because it is going to be racing some of these other picks very soon. We just have one more car to introduce, and then we will be I'll go and pull those other cars from Mustard and Roughshod, and we will take a look. So you have a chance. If there's anybody else who's watching, who's checking this out, go to AtTheTrack.live, select choose a car, scroll through, find the car that you want me to pick or that you want to introduce into the tournament. Just put the number of that car into the chat. I'll pull the car and we will see how it performs. Let me check the manufacturing year. It is 2023, and this car is interesting. It is a metal body on a plastic base, so that is a little something. But actually, you know what? Most of these cars that we've picked today, the Audi metal on plastic, the Cosmo metal on plastic, and stop bumping the camera. The Gazella, however, is plastic on metal, so it's got the plastic body and the metal base. But we've seen what the weights are, so it's not necessarily a deal breaker there. Let's go back here and put in 2023. Was that for that Porsche? And this last one, I just need again to double check, make sure don't already have one. And we do not. Yeah, okay, we're good. So I've already mentioned in the past how I like the sort of minivan sport truck thing. So whether it's the ID Buzz or that Volkswagen truck that had the weird sort of teardrop shape in the back end, etc., etc. I like all these. And here's another one. This is called the Vanster, and it's just sort of a wild one of these Hot Wheels art cars. So it's got a wild design on it, but I don't know. I just like it. And do I expect it to be particularly fast on the track? No. But with the Hot Wheels cars, I either pick them up for one of two reasons. Either I think they'll do well on the track and I'm curious to see how they'll perform, or they just catch my eye and I like them and pick them up. And this is one from that latter category. I just liked it, looked at it, picked it up. So let's crack it open, the Vanster, and see what we've got. Now, because it's a van, the question is it going to be heavy? We talked about that other van, that California cruising van that I had from when I was a kid, and that thing is all metal and very heavy. This one's metal body on a plastic base, and it is weighing in at 40.4 grams. So true true to the van culture, it is coming in heavy. And let's go ahead and take a closer look at this thing. And this is it. This is the Vanster. And I will shoot. Oh, well, first let me throw in different color backdrop just to get some contrast so you can actually see the thing and it doesn't disappear into the blue background. So we've got this Vanster, and yeah, all right, lock in this focus. Get a little backfill light. And the Vanster is coming into the fleet. There we go. All right. And now let's just grab the video. And then after that, I will go and pull the other two cars. And we will be that much closer to hitting the track. So let's go ahead and check out the Vanster. And I mean, the weight, if we had an all van competition, then I would probably, be a little more likely to think that this one would be fast, because a lot of the other vans are much flatter in the front, and there's a lot more surface area for that air to have to press up against. So this one, I think, is minimally more aerodynamic, but it's very minimal. So the Vanster, and I didn't check the year, the manufacturing year on this one, but we'll see. Again, I'm not expecting a lot, although the back end is flat, and that's maybe the best thing I can say about it. But when we talk about the aerodynamics of this, I have mentioned before that I backed a Kickstarter campaign for a company that was making a wind tunnel for 1/64th scale cars, so for die-cast cars, and they're going to make larger versions for other model cars. And I think they've changed their Instagram handle now. It was different when I backed the Kickstarter last year, but it's now, I believe, FunTech Labs. So if you go to search FunTech Labs on Instagram, you'll see what I'm talking about. So it's a little compact wind tunnel. You put the cars in, there's this fog fluid, and it blows over the car, and you can see the aerodynamics. And it's a great thing. And if you look at their Instagram account, it's kind of interesting, because they've given the thing to certain, I guess, influencers or whatever, because there are some people that actually have it and are making videos using it, but it's not just like regular people. It's people with like thousands, tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of followers and all that. I still haven't received mine, and so on through their Instagram account, they're suggesting like, hey, yeah, come on, just sign up and buy one and this and that. But they haven't actually started shipping, because if you bought it through the Kickstarter campaign, then there are updates that are not available to like sort of the general public on Instagram. And I mean, they're doing a good job. They're admitting that, okay, we were testing it, we ran into this problem, we want to fix that before we ship it out. So I'm not mad that there's been a delay. I mean, it's a brand new product, so it's better that they take their time, get it right, than rush it out and have to have like recalls and people putting out bad reviews. But it's going to be interesting, because once I get that, I'm going to set it up. And so some of these cars that we're looking at and we're wondering about the aerodynamics, I'm going to be looking forward to putting them in there and testing out the aerodynamics and seeing exactly how the air flows over, under, and around these cars. So we have, we've got 4 cars that are new to the fleet. That would be the Vanster. That would be the Audi Rallye, or I'm sorry, the Porsche 911 Rallye, the 68 Cosmo Sport, and the Audi E-Tron. And we had 2 other picks, one from Roughshod, one from Mustard. And so I am going to go and pull those cars, and should just take me a minute or two. But again, since I haven't made any other kind of sort of bumper or any kind of other screen or countdown to account for when I'm going to search for cars, I'm gonna have to put up the bathroom break graphic. It's gonna say 5 minutes. Won't take me 5 minutes. I'm gonna grab these cars and I will be right back. Alright. Roughshod liked the bathroom break song. Alright, I found the 2 cars, and these are two interesting picks. So let's go ahead and take a look at these. We have that over there. Go here, and first we'll take a look at the formulator, which was Roughshod's pick, and this was definitely, yeah, this is a popular car. Good aerodynamic profile, fantasy car. Like I said, I think this one my son got in a McDonald's, like a Happy Meal or something when he was little, and there was a sticker right on the front, which in the picture on the page to choose a car, it's on there, but I peeled it off because it was coming off and it was just flapping in the wind and slowing the car down, so took that off. And this car is a good solid pick, and this may be the car. I think if I had to this point, I think this is the car that I would take. Let's see how much it weighs. And 33.8 grams. So again, it's right in that sweet spot of between 32 and 36 is usually where we end up. And then I'm checking on Mustard's Ferrari, and it is 33.5 grams. So basically we've got the same weight, but let's go ahead and take a look. And so this is an interesting car because it's short and it's compact, but it's wide. And a lot of times we get smaller cars, lighter cars. Well, this one's not light, but usually the smaller cars tend to be light. This one is not. And this is another solid pick. And I would not be surprised if this car does well. The back end is pretty flat. The same thing with the formulator. So we're looking at a pretty good group right here. I don't know that I'm still. This one I'm not sure how it'll perform, but it's wide. I think the fact that it's wide is what might give it a little bit of an edge. So this is going to be a good series of races. So we're about to hit the track. Plus we've got our two special races, which is the Haulinator. We're going to see if the tow hook versus no tow hook, if that makes a difference. We also have the MS-T Suzuka Showdown, where we have the one that's currently in the fleet, the used one that my son played with, versus the one that's fresh out of the pack. We're going to see which one gets to stay in the fleet. We've got the Vanster. We've got the Audi E-Tron. We've got the 68 Cosmo Sport. And we've got the Porsche 911 Rallye. So we've got that. And of course, we've got our champ, the Gazella R. And we are about to hit the track, but just in case this is your first time viewing At The Track Live, here's what you are about to see. You are going to be looking at our 3-camera race view, and the cars are going to start at the top of the screen on the left. The launcher is where the cars begin. I will give a countdown, 3, 2, 1, race. The cars will come firing out of the launcher. They will come from the top of the screen. They will go to the bottom of the screen. They will pass out of the bottom of the screen, and they will show up at the top of the screen in the middle. Once they are there, they will come from top to bottom, pass out of the bottom of the middle screen, and then they will show up at the top of the screen on the right. That is our finish line camera view. The cars will come from top to bottom. They will cross the finish line, and the winning car will be indicated with a solid red light. The losing car will be indicated with a flashing red light. So winning car, solid red light. Losing car, flashing red light. And the races are best 2 out of 3. So the cars will switch lanes after the first race. And if there is a third race, then they will switch lanes again. If a car crashes and comes off of the track, then we just restart that race. If a car crashes twice consecutively, then that car is disqualified, because typically if a car crashes twice consecutively, there is some problem with the car and the launcher combination that isn't going to be resolved by just re-racing the car. So that is typically it. But if a car crashes and does not leave the track, which we've had happen, a car flips over and ends up on its roof, but it doesn't leave the track, then unfortunately that car just loses that race, and we set up again, and that is what we do. So we've got a good lineup. We've got a bunch of races ready to make those happen, and we are going to be hitting the track, and I will see you there in 30 seconds. just as always, I got to double check the audio once we're at the track view. And 1 2 1 2. Yep, audio is working, track is ready. Get this cord out of the way, and we'll see which cars are going to come out on top today. So I think we'll just start off with the race between the two MS-T Suzuka cars, and then we'll save that Haulerback race for the end. So let's go ahead and see if the version of the MS-T Suzuka that my son played with, the one that he got from somewhere, the one that has a lot of wear and tear, if that one is going to be able to beat out the one that is fresh out of the pack and looking to take its spot. So we're going to go, oh, you know what? It is a moot point because these cars are too wide to fit into the launcher. So, oh, okay. I think I see what I'm gonna have to do. Okay, so we're not gonna have this Suzuka race, and I am glad that this happened because yeah, there's some modifications, but we'll talk about that later. So we're gonna get off of that, and we'll just get into our races for today, and we'll start off with we're gonna go with Mustard's Ferrari versus the Rallye. So we'll put the Ferrari in lane 1. We will put the Rallye in lane 2, and get it lined up. All right, first race of the day. We've got Mustard Jello's pick of the Ferrari Modena in lane 1. We have the 911 Rallye in lane 2. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Woo! And the Ferrari had a spectacular crash right out of the gate, so we will reset those cars and run that race again. And let's see, get that Ferrari set up just right there. And let me go and get the Rallye, which some of these crashes, depending on when they happen, actually, if they happen closer to the camera, then I end up with some cool video. So I'll have to go back and see if I caught that, if the cameras caught that wreck and how that looked, and sort of diagnose exactly what happened. All right, here we go. Restarting the race. It is the Ferrari in lane 1, the Rallye in lane 2. Three, two, one, race. Whoo-hoo! That Ferrari stayed on the track that time and smoked the 911. And that is race number 1. And we are going to switch tracks and see if the Rallye can, at least make it a contest. That was an obliteration right there. So we are going to have to see. Yeah, we had our first crash of 25, but sometimes the cars, they just get a bad launch and they crash, and it's not really a big deal. It's when they consistently crash that then I have to go back and check and see, all right, why is this happening? And there's usually some There's some reason for it, but we'll see here. All right, got the Ferrari lined up in lane 2. The Rallye. Let me get it pressed up against the launching block. See, that's one of the things with the Porsches, is that they do have those rounded back ends, and that's not ideal for what you want to have on this track. But nevertheless, this Porsche needs to take this race to force a third and final race. Otherwise, we are going to be moving on with the Ferrari. So here we go, race number 2. Three, two, one, race. That Ferrari might be a problem because either it's hard to tell just based on one race, but the margin of victory was so extreme that either the Rallye is particularly slow, or that Ferrari is incredibly fast, and it might be a combination of the two. You might have a fast car against a slow car. Who knows? Either way, we are moving on. And next up, we're going to have the Vanster against this Audi E-Tron. So let me see first if because it's a van, I'm going to have to use this taller acrylic cover, and I explained the ins and outs of that last week, but when we had the Bugs Bunny car. But we're going to, let's see, put the van is going to be in lane 2. The E-Tron is going to be in lane 1. And hopefully we don't have to do anything special to keep the E-Tron on the track. So let me move this, put on the bigger cover here. And this is the Audi E-Tron in lane 1. We've got the Vanster in lane 2. Race number 1. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Second crash at 25. The Vanster could not stay on. The E-Tron had no problem moving down the track. So let's get these set up again. The Vanster. It's tough because the Vanster is just tall enough that it requires the taller cover, and it really just kind of depends what kind of push out it is getting. But it's got such a weird, it's not weird, it's just not it doesn't have an aerodynamic a good aerodynamic profile, and who knows what's going to happen with it. But this Audi E-Tron had a good run down the track. So we're going to go again. We've got the Vanster in lane 2, Audi E-Tron lane 1. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. All right, so the Vanster crashed again, and like I mentioned before, when a car crashes twice consecutively in exactly the same way, there's usually some other issue going on that isn't going to be solved. So like we could keep running these, and we might get a situation where the Vanster actually stays on the track and makes it down the track, but that would probably be more luck. And so I'm going to have to go back, take a slow motion video, see exactly why the Vanster is not staying on the track. But what we do know is it's not staying on the track, and therefore it crashed twice consecutively. It is out. So the E-Tron moves on by default. And we're going to go now to the Formulator roughshods pick versus the 68 Cosmo Coupe. Let me switch the covers back, and we will see if both roughshod can join Mustard and the E-Tron in the next bracket. So we are going to put the Formulator in lane 1. All right. And we're going to put this Cosmo Coupe in lane 2. So, all right, we are ready to go. Cosmo Coupe. Why did I call it a Cosmo Coupe? It is a coupe, but the Cosmo Sport in lane 2 and the Formulator in lane 1. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Whoa! That Cosmo Coupe, clearly, I underestimated it because it was so light and narrow, which are two things that usually do cars in on the track. But that Cosmo Coupe, that was moving, and it took that first race. We're going to switch it up here and change lanes and see if, you know, it's possible that the Formulator just got a bad launch. That happens. We saw it happen earlier. But the question is, can it come back and take 2 in a row from this 68 Sport? Which, if this 68 Sport wins this next race by as much, this is definitely today's sleeper car, because I had no idea that it was going to do that. So here we go, race 2. We've got the Cosmo Sport lane 1. We've got the Formulator lane 2. Here we go, race 2. Three, two, one, race. That race was much closer, but the coupe, the sleeper car of the day, took it. I really didn't expect that to happen. This is why we race the cars, because you just never know. And so we have our next group, which is going to be, let's see. It is going to be, we've got the Ferrari, we've got the E-Tron, and we've got this 68 coupe. So let's go with the Ferrari and the E-Tron and see who is moving on to the finals. We're going to set this up here. We're going to put the Ferrari in lane 1. We are going to put the E-Tron in lane 2 and see if the 4-door Audi can take out the Ferrari. So here we go. Ferrari lane 1, Audi lane 2, race 1. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. That was close, but the E-Tron took it. And so the E-Tron is one step closer to the finals. And we're going to switch lanes here. So I think based on that result, when I was asking earlier if it was the 911, the Rallye E was just that slow, or if the Ferrari was that fast, I think the Porsche was just that slow. So let's go. We got the Ferrari now in lane 2. We have the E-Tron in lane 1. We're ready to go. Race number 2. The Ferrari needs to take it to force the third and final race, but we'll see what happens. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. And the E-Tron decides to take a trip off the track, crashes, I think we've had more crashes today than we have in the last few weeks, but hey, it's part of the game. And we'll set these cars up again. The Ferrari in lane 2. And the thing is, so with the E-Tron, it's different than the Vanster. The Vanster crashed twice. It never made it down the track once. So that tells me like there's some problem, some issue with the Vanster, because it crashed twice in a row in exactly the same way. With the E-Tron, we've already seen it make it down the track, so we know it can make it down the track. So there's not really a problem with the car. So we know that if it gets a proper launch, that it will stay on the track. So it's not really in danger of being disqualified because we know it'll make it down the track. So we're going to set this race up again. We've got the E-Tron in lane 1. We have the Ferrari in lane 2. Race number 2. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. The Ferrari comes back. The Ferrari takes it. All right, E-Tron and Ferrari going to a third and final race. All right, let's get these set up here. You just never know. You never know. So maybe the Ferrari just got a bad launch the first time out, and it is ready to move on to the finals and get one step closer to facing off against the Gazella R. So we got the Audi in lane 2. We have the Ferrari in lane 1. Both these cars are ready to go. Third and final race. Which car will make it to the finals against the Mazda Coupe? Here we go. Race number 3. Three, two, one, race. The Ferrari comes back, takes 2 in a row, and is moving on. The Ferrari is moving on to the finals. So Mustard's pick, this Ferrari got the job done. It just, again, sometimes they just get a bad launch, and you know, they get a good launch and they're good, which is why picking a car with a flat back end is so critical, because it is the launch that's like the most important thing. If the car can get a good push out, that's the most important thing. Next most important thing is whether or not it can stay straight on the track. This Ferrari is a wider car, so that is helpful. But this Cosmo Sport is narrow and it's light, and it did a fantastic job in its first race. We're going to see if it can keep that up against the Ferrari, if I can get it lined up properly. We've got, let's go get it in here. It doesn't want to stay in the launching blocks. It wants to flow down the track, but got to get it positioned just right. All right, we have the 68 Mazda Cosmo in lane 1. We have the Ferrari Modena in lane 2, and this is race 1. This is the finals. Let's see what happens. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Woo-hoo! That was close, and I had to check the lights. The Ferrari took it, and that was a very close race. And I think it's interesting because the Cosmo is light, and it was bouncing around a little bit. And if I had to pick, it's why I always go with, I would take a wider, if all things are equal, I would take a wider car over a lighter car, for exactly that reason, that you just don't want any kind of wobble going down the track. You want that car to stay as straight as possible, and I think the Ferrari, being a wider car, has the advantage there, even if it's giving up a lot on the speed, because I think the the Mazda was about 27 grams, and the Ferrari was 33, something like that. So there is a difference in weight, but we're going to see right now. If the Ferrari, which is in lane 1, can beat the Mazda, which is in lane 2, the Ferrari will be our champion for today and will be taking on the Gazella R. Let's see what happens. 3, 2, 1, race. Oh, these cars are taking it down to the wire. So the Mazda comes back, takes that race, and we are going to a third, final, and decisive race. We are going to find out which of these cars is going to move on to take on our fastest in fleet car, which is the Gazella R. And now we will have the Ferrari in lane 2. We will have the Mazda, the sleeper car of the day. I had no thoughts that this car was going to get to the finals and press a third race. This is it. This is like Game 7 in sports. This is the third and final race. So here we go. We've got the Mazda Cosmo Sport in lane 1. We have the Ferrari 360 Modena in lane 2. Here we go. Race number 3. 3, 2, 1, race. Woo-hoo. In a close race, neck and neck, the Ferrari takes it, and the Ferrari is today's champion, our tournament. And we have now just found out that, let's see, let me get rid of that. Get rid of that. All right. So we had three close races, and now we are about to see how fast this Ferrari is. We know the Ferrari's fast. It beat out all of its competitors today. But does it have enough speed to take out the Gazella R, the fastest in fleet champion that dethroned the Blitz speeder after 18 weeks of just pure domination? We're going to set the Ferrari up in lane 2. The Gazella is in lane 1. These cars are lined up. These cars are ready to go. We are going to find out right now if Mustard's pick of this Ferrari Modena can dethrone our fastest in fleet champion, the Gazella R. Here we go. Race number 1. Gazella lane 1, Ferrari lane 2. 3, 2, 1, race. Wow. I mean, it's one thing to be fast, which the Ferrari was. The Ferrari destroyed the Porsche. The Ferrari beat out in a very close series of races, beat out the Mazda. But the Gazella seems to be operating much like the Blitz speeder was for all those weeks, on a whole different level of speed. And it's possible that the Ferrari just got a bad launch, which has happened. But the Ferrari is going to need to come back and take 2 in a row from the Gazella. And the Gazella just beat the Ferrari by multiple car lengths. So we're going to see what happens. And again, it's possible that the car just got a bad launch. That happens. But it's going to need to get a good launch and have its best performance to beat out the Gazella R. So we are going to start this race. The Gazella is in lane 2. The Ferrari's in lane 1. And here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Wow. Yeah, Mustard's right. The Gazella it's just on another level. It's just a different level of fast. And so the Gazella remains our fastest in fleet champion. But we're not done with the races. We still have this Haulerback challenge. So we have the Haulerback. We have one with the tow hook that we raced previously that's already in the fleet. But then I wanted to see how it would perform with no tow hook, with the back bumper pressed firmly against the launching block. So we're going to have this race and see if it makes a difference. So we're going to have the Haulerback with no tow hook in lane 1. The Haulerback with the tow hook is in lane 2. So we've got lane 1 has the flat bumper with no tow hook pressed right up against the launching block, and lane 2 we have the tow hook pressed against the launching block. So lane 2 tow hook, lane 1 no tow hook. So let's see if it makes a difference and what happens. Here we go. Race 1. Three, two, one, race. Well, we're going to have to run that again because we've had our 4th crash of the day, and it involved the Haulerback with no tow hook. It just smashed and to the barrier and flipped up and flew off the track. And what happens? There's a lot of force. I'm telling you, these cars are coming out of this launcher with a lot of force. A lot of force. It's like a slingshot, just an overpowered slingshot, basically. And so we are going to line these cars up again and see if it makes a difference. Tow hook, no tow hook, flat bumper pressed up against the launching block versus the tow hook. Here we go again. So flat bumper, lane 1, tow hook, lane 2. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Very interesting because the tow hook blew away the no tow hook. So that is interesting. I mean, it wasn't even close. But so was it a case of a bad launch, or does it just not make any difference, or perhaps the entire theory and things I've been observing has been off? But this is not enough to make a definitive determination, but we're going to find out right now if this tow truck with the tow hook can take a second race from the version that has the tow hook removed. Get these cars to stay in place. All right, so now we switched it up. We've got tow hook in lane 1, no tow hook in lane 2. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Interestingly enough, tow hook took it. So it didn't seem to make it didn't improve the performance of that car to have the flat back end pressed up against the back of the launching block. So that's a very interesting development. Let me gather up these cars, head back into the garage. We'll take a look at the winners, the losers, and what we learned. Okay, so the first thing that we learned today is that the Gazella R is just that's an incredible and impressive car, and the speed that it's putting out down the track is just relatively unmatched. And so the Gazella R may be already looking way down the road at the ultimate return match against the Blitz Speeder, because we really haven't had a car that's really put this car to the test yet. We've had those clear speeders did a good job, but the Gazella, you saw how it performed. What was interesting, so let's start with these MS-T, what was it? MTSK, the Suzuka. I guess I could just look at the bottom of the car. MS-T Suzuka cars. And I'll show you what the issue was with these. It was, if you look at the car, so these are already wide cars. If you look here, you'll see on either side of the car, there's these little things that stick out, that flare out around the body right here. On the white one, they're metal, and they come up right around the sides right there. You can see it. The problem is that is just too wide to fit in the launch channel. So these are already kind of wide cars, but that little bit, the way that sticks out, it was rubbing right against the walls of the launch channel. So when I put it in there, it was sort of rubbing against it. So it was going to really just rub up against the sides, and that was going to prevent it from getting any kind of a decent launch. So it actually, I mean, it fits in the launcher. That's not the problem. It's just that it barely fits, and it ultimately is not going to be able to get a clean launch because it's wedged in there. So I think this kind of, without having to have the race, because this is, I'm gonna have to, I think this may be plastic. It may be plastic made to look like metal. Either way, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to cut those off. I'm going to have to get the Dremel and just take those off. I know for a fact these are plastic on the sides, but if you look at it, see how it just sticks out beyond the wheel? You can kind of see a little bit better right there, but yeah, it just sticks out, and that is no good. So you can see on this side right there, just sticks out. So I'm gonna have to cut those off, and I'm going, again, usually I don't modify the cars unless it's something like this where it's necessary to make them fit on the track, and that is what I'm going to have to do, because this car is, I think it was like number 62. So if I were to just take it completely out of the fleet, now I've got to change the numbers and move every car up, or I just find a different car to plug in to the 62 spot. But I'm going to start off, I'm going to try and cut these off, and then we'll see if that in fact makes a difference. Then with the Haulerback Race, it's pretty interesting, because we had the version with the tow hook, which is that one, and then we had the one where I cut the tow hook off, which is that one. And it turns out that the one with the tow hook actually took both of the races, 2 in a row. And it's just another piece of data, but because we had the mail trucks. Remember, we had those mail trucks. Did I have it here? No. We had the mail trucks, and one had a wheelie bar, one did not. And we did the same kind of experiment. I got a second one. I cut the wheelie bar off, and then the back of the truck was able to press right up against the launching block. And the truck that had no wheelie bar, that pressed right up against the launching block, performed better. And that was sort of the expectation. With this, I kind of expected the same thing. So, because again, most of the observations are that cars that have more surface area pressed up against the launching block get better pushes and launches. Now, it is possible that this tow hook, it doesn't come to a point, it's flat, so you can see here that it's flat, so it's not actually a point. So, perhaps that helps, and also, maybe that's the thing. So it's not getting a bad launch, in other words. However, even if it's not getting a bad launch, the only difference between these two trucks is that I cut off the bar, and so one should be, in theory, lighter. So let me check the one with the tow hook. 30.3 grams. And then the one with no tow hook, 30.2 grams. So basically, I just removed 1/10 of a gram from the weight, but these cars performed, those races weren't close. So, I don't know. This is interesting. And you can't, like I tell the kids, you can't draw too many conclusions just based on a small data set. So we only have the two races that happened. But the results were interesting. And when you get interesting results, then you have to kind of look deeper and see if you can continue to get those same results when you conduct your experiments. So I think I'm going to race these a few more times this week and just see if the results remain consistent. And if they do, then I don't know. Then there's more that I need to look into. But it was a good day of races. Let's take the Ferrari. This Ferrari was definitely, so let's see. Roughshod is saying the higher contact point might be the edge, and that's possible because if we look at the Gazella, if we look at the Gazella, if we look at the Blitz Speeder, they all have these wings. They both have these wings, and they're higher up on the car. They're like right at the roof line or just above, and that's what where the push comes from. Now with these Haulerbacks, perhaps if we go with that theory of the sort of elevated, the higher the point of contact is, then the better the launch is. If we look at this, then we do see, in fact, that this the tow hook, the part that's touching the launching block, is slightly higher than the back bumper. So maybe there is a correlation between that. So that's just something that's another thing to keep in mind as I do these tests and have these races and try and figure out why we're getting this result. Because you would think that they would still be close in terms of the races would be close, but they weren't. So gonna have to look a little bit further into that and see what's up with those. And then we had this Ferrari. This Ferrari did well until it ran into that buzzsaw that was the Gazella. But what I liked is it's a wide car, and usually the compact cars, the shorter cars are narrow, and this one wasn't. Now, this one, the sleeper car of the day, this was definitely, this was a surprise, because this car was basically, I think there may have been one car that was a little lighter, that Porsche might have been a little lighter, but essentially it was the lightest car, and it was narrow. And it wobbled a bit. It definitely, I could see it wobbling down the track, but not so much that it prevented it from making it down. And so maybe it was a function of like it being light, that it didn't really bounce around as much. I'm not certain. I'd have to, have more races and observe it more closely. But this was a car that I wasn't expecting much from, and I think, it didn't beat out the Ferrari, but those were close races. All three of those races were pretty close, and I think this is a car that could beat a lot of cars in the fleet. So it's nice to come across these sleeper cars that you don't expect anything from. And then I am definitely going to go back and take some slow motion video of this one, of the Vanster, because it crashed twice consecutively in exactly the same way, and I need to know why. And if it's not going to be able to make it down the track, then I got to take it out of the fleet, and it's better to figure that out and get that known and out of the way sooner than later. So I'll shoot the slow motion video, and then I will post it on Instagram. So you can, of course, follow All About Aerodynamics on our Instagram account, AA Aerodynamics, and get all of the information that you want, that you need, about upcoming races, about my update when I get the wind tunnel thing, which should be pretty cool, and just a lot of different things going on. So I am going to I'm going to go back and take a look at these cars. I'm going to try to make the modifications on these Suzukas. And is that why do I keep having such trouble? Yeah, Suzuka, MS-T Suzuka. I'll make those modifications and hopefully not damage the car too significantly. Shoot the slow motion video of the Vanster. Test out a couple more Haulerbacks. I've ended up coming out of this episode with a lot more work for myself, but it's basically playing with Hot Wheels, so I can't complain too much. So this is great. Mustard, yeah, thank you, Rough Shot. Thank you everybody who's watching live, and people who are watching later, which is most of the audiences. But I will have this video posted, and it will have timestamps. So will the other videos that are currently. If you go to our YouTube page and click the live tab, all the videos have timestamps. You can jump to whichever review you want to see. You can jump to the races. You can watch the whole episode, whatever you want to do. This episode will be up right after we finish, and then within an hour or so, I'll start having the time codes in there, so you can just jump to whatever it is that you want to see. But if you're watching this later, the time codes are already there, so you're welcome. Happy New Year to everyone, and I'm looking forward to having more races, more fun. I'll be back here next week, 11 a.m. Pacific, at the track live. Go to AtTheTrack.live, select choose a car, scroll through, take a look, find a car, take your car, drop that number of that car in the chat, and I'll pull the car just like we had today. We'll throw it in the tournament, see how the car performs once it's on the track. So, for All About Aerodynamics, at the track live, see you all later, and next time I see you, it will be at the track. No, not at the track, at the races. That's where I'll see you. I'll see you at the races. See you next week.